Hello everyone and welcome to this Meet the Speaker video. I'm here today with Daniel Glenn. How are you doing, Daniel?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Pretty good. Just
Good.
came back from Amsterdam and the only thing that's a bit upsetting is that we had about 20 centimeters of snow overnight and we're in April.
Yes. Well,
So
the weather has been a little crazy here as well. We're almost up to 80 degrees today.
tough life, right?
Tough life, yes.
Before we go on, can you do a quick introduction of yourself?
Sure. I'm Daniel. I am the practice lead for a company called InfoWorks. We are a Microsoft partner based in Middle Tennessee in the U.S., focusing primarily on Office 365 is what I do. Focus on SharePoint as my original technology, as how I got into all of this, but do rollouts and migrations and troubleshooting and everything for all Office 365 technologies. Love doing it. I've been a consultant for, I don't know, about 8 years or so, and I'm doing some great stuff for people. So it's
Awesome. And have you started actually your tech career with SharePoint, or where did you start?
Yeah, so I got my first job out of college, university. It was with a worldwide leading financial firm, and I was brought on to be really a webmaster. I don't, that term is, I don't know, isn't used that very much, but I was in charge of extranets and FTP, and actually got thrown into BlackBerry and some other email technology, not Microsoft based, but I was the administrator for that. So SharePoint wasn't on the radar at all when I took that job. But one day, the Microsoft lead, local lead, came around and handed me a disk, and it was actually gold, and which I didn't realize it actually. They have a thing called a gold disc, you know, when they RTM a product. And
I did not knew that.
yeah, they call it the gold disc, but basically it's the master copy, and then they made copies from that. But anyway, that's not what he brought to me, but it was, I guess, a symbol. But it was the RTM version of SharePoint 2003, and it was before it was RTM'd. We were several weeks out, and my boss said, put a server. He brought me a server. It was a 3U. If people know what that means, it means it wasn't small. And I put it under my desk and installed some virtual machines and installed SharePoint, and that was my first install of SharePoint. We had 2001 portal server as well as STS v1 in the environment, and I had been introduced to it as administrator, but this was my first kick in the tires, was installing 2003.
So next thing you found out that disk was actually worth itself the weight in gold.
Well,
after you've been playing with it, well, working with it now for what, 15 years, 16 years?
a long time, and it really is. I didn't start my career out with SharePoint, but I was lucky enough to be given that disk, and lucky enough to have the opportunity to introduce the organization to that second version of SharePoint, and really take it from there, building solutions for the organization. So I count my blessings, definitely.
Awesome. And you're mostly on the IT pro side, like you said, migrations, a bit of out-of-the-box customization. Have you ever done any dev or played into, because SharePoint is huge, right?
Yep.
Have you ever tried some of the other things?
I sure have. Sure. I was a developer for about 6 months, and then I got better. And
that's a long career. Your career as a dev.
So yeah, I'm mostly IT pro. Done some dev and some back end and front end dev. I think really, and I was kind of thinking back as to what my first presentation was back in the day. I was speaking at user groups a little bit here and there, but my first kind of presentation at an event was actually using out-of-the-box features to build solutions in SharePoint. I'm a big, and that was many moons ago, and that was
Do you
my first.
remember the exact event, or?
I do actually. I mean, it was a SharePoint Saturday. It was actually SharePoint Saturday Nashville, where I gave that presentation, and it was, so that's my kind of thing. I don't like customizing where I don't need to. There's times when you need to custom development, do custom development to get what you need, but I really like building solutions with out-of-the-box functionality. So that was where I kind of started my presenting as well. So I'm not a developer, and I don't claim to be one, but just like you said, SharePoint community is huge, and the product is huge. Able to create solutions with things like column formatting and stuff like that, but then they're all the way to development and customization, and then there's a lot of stuff in between that, search and records management, and there's so much to do and to know that I haven't met anyone yet that knows it all. So you're close though, Vlad. You're close.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm almost there. I'm glad you see me there. I'll take that as a compliment. and like you've mentioned, you've been speaking at a lot of community events. I mean, I'm from Montreal. You're from Nashville, but I have a feeling I see you like 10 times a year at least.
Unfortunately, yes.
I love you too.
No, yeah, it's great. I think I love giving back to the community. I love having those. I love speaking and presenting, but I love having those conversations afterwards with people of, hey, I have this issue, or we're going in this direction. What do you think? Or what are your thoughts on what's coming next? And I love having those conversations, and I love being part of the community. So yes, I enjoy speaking, but that's kind of a small part of being part of the community, and I just really enjoy it. So speaking at conferences, but also SharePoint Saturdays, SQL Saturdays, Office 365 Saturdays, and organizing my own. I organize my own SharePoint Saturday. So I love being part of the community. And
awesome.
Occasionally.
Occasionally, but not too much, right?
Right. That's right.
Talking about community, there's a huge event coming up in May.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, as I was in the kind of Valo relaxing room, I found this
nice.
Small $500 token from Vegas last year at the SharePoint conference. Are you excited about SharePoint conference coming back to Vegas in just next month, actually? Wow.
Wow. Yes. So last year was fantastic. Right, SharePoint conference 2018, and it was a fantastic conference. It's maybe my most favorite for a few reasons, and really having that one highlight that I think that was that immersive experience with SharePoint Spaces, being able to touch it and feel it and get experience with that.
How were you able to touch it? I tried, but it didn't work.
Maybe you're not as talented as I, but anyway, so no, it was, it was a great experience. So I'm really looking forward to this year with even more abilities of getting in touch with the product team. What really surprised me about last year was how many of the SharePoint and OneDrive product teams were there, but this year even more, and with the attendees having the ability to connect with them and have meetings with them and with speakers and experts, one-on-ones, conversations, again, going back to that, what I love about the community. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm speaking on keeping up with change in Office 365 at this year's SharePoint conference, which is a topic that you can't constrain in 1 hour, but I'm going to try.
That will be a popular session for sure, because even most MVPs that you talk to, they're all still having trouble keeping up with all of the different announcements that are everywhere. So I'm sure it will be a really famous session.
Oh, I hope so. Everyone come on out.
Final question for you. big part of the SharePoint conference, SharePoint conferences is always the party.
Mm.
You've been there in 2014, I think I remember. You've
Yes.
been there for sure with Danica Patrick. Last year we had the B-52s.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is going to be there this year if you had to take a bet?
Well, I'm not a betting man, which
You're
is
going
interesting
to
because it's in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
But I'm thinking rock. I'd really like that's some old school rock. That's kind of what I'm thinking. B-52s are not one. I enjoyed B-52s and I enjoyed the music, but I'm thinking rock. I don't know what band it'll be. What act it'll be, but I'm thinking kind of that Aerosmith, Tom Petty kind of feel. So we'll see.
That's a good guess. I'm surprised a bit because you're from Nashville. You didn't guess anything country.
Oh,
but I appreciate your openness.
Yeah, well, you've been to Nashville. We have way more than just country.
Oh yeah,
So.
Nashville is amazing, and I'm hopefully coming back in June. I'm still waiting for that speaker confirmation, but hopefully I'll see you one more time in June, and before I get my Daniel summer holidays.
Right.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Daniel. It's been thank you for your time today, and I'm looking forward to see you at the end of this month and then next month in Vegas.
Yeah, see everyone in Vegas.